I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Charles Turner, as for a film called He Never Died from 2015. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. He Never Died. I liked the film. Like I said, I thought it was an interesting film. I thought the story was intriguing. It was kind of black dark comedy, but one that worked for me, in particular because the lead, Henry Rollins, I liked Henry Rollins. He was from, of course, music, Henry Rollins Band, among others. He did acting roles in The Chase with Charlie Sheen. He was in Wrong Turn 2. He was in Michael Mann's Heat. Like I said, I always liked Henry Rollins as a performer. It was nice to see him in the lead in the film, and just playing a very quirky, crazy character that when you find out who he is, his performance makes even more sense. And I thought it was just fun to watch him with how he's kind of matter of fact with his dialogue. This seems like a guy who's completely bored with life. And he's just kind of, the way he reacts, the way he acts in situations is rather interesting or fun to me. They got some chuckles out of me. He's pretty much a guy who has lived for a long time, who cannot die, who just wants to be left alone, you get this overlapping sound design where I guess it's like all of his thoughts, his centuries of thoughts being meshed together, of all that he's experienced, rolling around, not getting out of his head. And he just wants to be left alone, and he kind of an anti-hero. He's got tons of money. He has a set routine where he goes to this diner, he plays bingo, because he wants to fight off his cannibalistic tendencies. He'll order vegan foods. He's trying to be left alone and doesn't want to be fucked with. He'll purchase like donated blood from this hospital intern. And then it's people that are fucking with him. And the way Henry Rollins handles that is actually fun. Like these two mobsters go into his place, and nonchalantly, Henry Rollins just pushes the guy back, poof, and then closes the door on him. And when he gets punched, it does nothing to him. It's like he doesn't give a shit. And even when they attack him, he's like, just nonchalantly tosses the gun that the guy pulled out, or he grabs it, gets shot, there's blood on his hand, he doesn't care, punches the guy in the nuts, grabs one guy in the nuts, beats the shit out of him, throws him out, like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, his reactions are fun because you can tell he's a guy who's just not quite there. Like, he's seen so much of life. He's just so bored with everything. And just... There's a point where a bitchy ex-girlfriend calls him and says, our daughter needs your help. What? We have what now? Go check on her. He finds her, and he's like, are you fine? Yeah. So you're fine. Okay, cool. I'm leaving. Don't die before you get to your mother's. Or when she tries to start hanging out with him, and he wants to sleep, and she's like, oh, we don't do anything today? He's like, I'm doing it. You're sleeping. And... Or later on she goes, you're out there, aren't you? Probably. Like, just the way he says the lines, the way he's just nonchalant, and it made the character a bit more interesting to me. Again, I like Henry Rollins. If you don't give a shit about Henry Rollins, I don't know how this will appeal to you, but it was a character that I found interesting to see where the plot was going, where the story was going. And again, it creates some kind of funny scenarios. And again, a character that will play bingo because these people don't distract me. Keeps me occupied. As in, you keeps that urge to feed away. And in spoiler alert, spoilers, you're thinking maybe he's a vampire. No, it's more to that. Which I really like this idea. He's Cain. From Cain and Abel. And, the first murderer. And because of that, he can't die. That's why when he wakes up, now that I think about it, when he wakes up, you see these two scars on his back that look like wings. Or look like what wings would have been. And that's like the only things that haven't healed up is where his wings were at. And he keeps seeing this man with the goatee, whether it's the devil, however you want to put it. And he's like, there's a point at the end where, we were barely men back then. If you murder wouldn't exist, if I didn't kill that little shit, I don't deserve this. Fuck God, because there isn't one. Just let me die. Henry Rollins pretty good in this. And then it's him on this journey to find this daughter and get her out of there. There's one point he rips a guy's throat out and eats it. There's another point where he kills an annoying neighbor. Now, I will say one of the big drawbacks is the director, I don't know why he did this, he has a tendency to cut away. And that's, to me, the worst part of the film. It didn't ruin the film for me, but I wish the action was better. I understand cut away once or twice, but he does it way too much fucking times. I think there's a point of view in the audience where you want to see this guy do his damage, and you want to get that visceral reaction as this anti-hero, his journey plays out. Now, okay, he rips the guy's throat out and then he eats it. Okay. Ooh, shit, okay, cool. But when he kills the annoying neighbor, he jumps at him, it cuts away. He's trying to pick a fight to fight the urge. He's walking around. For a while, people are treating him nice. He's like, damn it. He walks away. But he's looking for asshole and scum. He finally finds some people. It's away. He enters his apartment. He's a bit bloodied up and he's washing his hands. He's like, no, I want to see some of this, director. Let me see some of this stuff. Let me see some of this action you're cutting away from. If you were building up to an ending on the scale of like Equilibrium, like this big balls out action, okay, but that's not really the case there. Stop cutting away. Even this bit in the diner where he's friends with this waitress. And I like the bit where he gets punched and he spits the blood in the guy's face because he doesn't give a shit. It doesn't do anything to him. But then in this diner, he gets shot in the head and he gets up and he's pissed and he's ready to fight him. And it cuts away to the outside of the diner. And you hear the ruckus and then he walks out. I'm like, stop doing it, man. Stop cutting away from the fucking mayhem. Now you do a little bit at the end. He takes a guy's ankle and he twists his soul slowly and breaks it. That was kind of cool to see. He pushes some guy's shotgun and it hits someone in the stomach. That was kind of cool. But it's not a end-all be-all battle. I wish it was. I think if you're going to keep cutting away, you really need to see... I'm not saying it needs to be John Wick, but you need to really see him... That big... Okay, you do a build-up. You need that big release. I don't think it quite gives you that with the audience, and that's why there's a little bit of disappointment factor where I liked the movie. I liked some of the humor in the movie. Like when he's naming the jobs to the waitress that he's done, and he keeps naming and naming and naming them because he's been around for centuries. This is before the girl knows what's going on. That was kind of funny. Apparently this is supposed to lead to a sequel or maybe a miniseries, and that never happened. Instead there was a sequel, but it's like a remake, only it's a female who can't die. I'm like, why? So you took away the one best part of the film, Henry Rollins? That was fucking stupid. Why did you do that? Fuck that. I don't want to see that. It was fun. I liked the story. I was intrigued to see where it was going. The character that Henry Rollins plays I found fascinating. This is the way he interacts with the world, and find out that he's Cain and Abel. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea. There's room for improvement, which with a sequel, perhaps you could do. Improve on, let us see more action. I wish there was more action. I wish the action was better. I wish it would stop cutting the fuck away from it. That's really my main drawback. The rest of it I liked. Like I said, I liked the acting. Henry Rollins, I think he did a great job. Parts of it came off rather funny. I don't want to give every single bit away. I believe it was for free on YouTube that I found it. I don't know if it's up there now. It was when I watched it. It's not going to be a film you love, 5 out of 5 or even 4 out of 5 stars, but I would give it maybe 3.5 out of 5, probably 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, the story, the idea, the sense of humor, the filming was fine. It looked fine. The way it was framed, the cinematography, I have no real issues with that. The music, I didn't mind the music. Nothing great, but it worked fine. And this was a character I would have been interested to see what happened next. Extra spoilers at the end. He kills some of the people. He's ready to kill this guy. The waitress is like, hey, your daughter needs hospital, needs attention. Decides to help save her instead of killing the guy. Now, whether that was meant to be like a big change, and that's why the guy with the goatee was not talking to Henry Rollins. He was talking to this villain, whispering to him. Maybe he's going to be the guy who... I don't know. I don't know the true intentions of that ending. I guess maybe he's going to suffer the same fate Henry Rollins did, or something else entirely. I don't know. There's no sequel, so... I wouldn't say it left room for a sequel, because Henry Rollins, they're going to be fine, or fine-ish. But I don't know if that was to lead to the sequel or miniseries, whatever the hell it was. But this is a film no one ever heard of or talked about, so I can see why there's no future developments. But still, I thought it was a rather decent film. Thought it was a decent movie. Like I said, had an interesting setup. Just, if you gave more of the visceral payoff to the audience, I do think this is a film that would be a better known. Oh, look at those brutal action bits. And you got Henry Rollins. He could pull that off. So, that I think is the director's biggest mistake. He'll never see this, but I think that was your biggest mistake, is that you cut away too much from the mayhem. Give people a few of that exhilarating moments. I think this would be even more known. As is, interesting, pretty decent flick. And Henry Rollins, I hope gets more lead roles, because I thought he pulled it off very well, and he was the guy that kept me interested the most watching this. And I said, some of the way he talked, he got some laughs, some chuckles out of me. I'm leaving. Don't die before you get to your muss. I did what he was going for. I thought he did a pretty damn solid job. Like I said, if you don't know Henry Rollins, if you do, you're a fan, it's at the very least worth a watch to see him and his performance. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.